Hello, welcome to this segment of Fearless Aging. And the title of this segment is Fix Your Posture and so you can feel better and look better. And I don't know anyone who doesn't want to feel better and look better, and I'm really excited about this. It's going to be some really great information because I'm a big believer in how important posture is. So our expert guest today, his name is Dr. Brett Hill. He's from YourPostureProgram.com. He's a chiropractor, entrepreneur, and speaker who's changing the way we think about posture, movement, and brain health. He founded Xperience Life Chiropractic and developed Your Posture Program, an online solution that helps people transform their posture and health from anywhere in the world. So Dr. Hill empowers individuals to look better and feel better by fixing their posture through practical, simple, and effective strategies that fit into your everyday life. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So, Dr. Brett, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, let's just start. Just, just start by saying, talk about why posture is so important.
Posture's the foundation of our health. When we're born, that's one of the first things that a child learns to develop. They get the physical curve in their neck, tummy time, and we grow, we end up standing, and that foundational support starts to fuel our brain in a healthy way. And as we age, a lot of times we lose that foundational support by hunching, slouching, just
Hmm.
from sitting and looking at screens, especially now.
Yeah.
And it affects us foundationally at the root of a lot of problems physically. A lot of the headaches and stress that we put on our body affects our posture and leads to further injuries and other problems.
So talk. You mentioned how it's important for brain health. So how does bad posture affect our brain health?
Well, one of the biggest impacts to our brain health is proper loading of our spine against gravity and movement. Some of the biggest impacts to our frontal lobe, which is our important decision making and higher center learning areas of brain, is really impacted by this constant pull of gravity on our spine. So when we lose our postural tone, we lose that activation and fuel to our brain to sense where our body is in space,
Hmm.
which should be constantly going. So the more we sit, the more we lose our postural tone and our muscles and joints aren't supported in a proper alignment, the less those joints activate, and we lose a huge impact to our overall brain health
Yeah.
and awareness of where we should be. We think of someone depressed, it shows in their posture, and the way that their brain isn't lighting up the same way is also affected because we're not moving and we're holding our posture differently. So there's a direct correlation there between our brain health and our postural tone.
I think it probably goes both ways. You could say that if you're depressed, you're probably going to have bad posture. But if you have bad posture, that's probably going to that's going to contribute to being depressed, right?
Exactly. Most people
Yeah.
focus on, oh, I need to focus on, the stress that I'm feeling so that my shoulders aren't tight or why I feel depressed. But if we focus on the physical aspect, it actually changes that mental aspect as well. And
I
and we have
yeah.
less stress or
I
less
I
depression.
definitely can see that. And also, I think, probably having that bad posture as we age, that's probably going to contribute to having, how people age have poor balance. So if you have poor posture, you probably have poor balance as well.
Yeah. Well, in my program, that yourpostureprogram.com, that's one of the first things we work on is our head position, our core activation, and balance. Balance is
Mhm.
really, really important because where the body follows the head. So if our head and we lose that postural tone of our head,
Yeah.
our whole center of gravity is going to be thrown off. And it really does impact the receptors in our neck, the vestibular canals in our ears, and our visual system of where we sense our body. And so that balance is thrown off in multiple ways related to our postural tone, our postural balance.
So what are some of the reasons, that we see so many people with that forward head posture and creating bad posture? What are the main causes of that, do you think?
Well, a lot of it is a use it or lose it principle. Our brain is very neuroplastic or adaptable to learn whatever we teach it. If you
Hmm.
think of how many hours a day do we sit, especially since the introduction of
Yeah.
computers, And even when we're walking nowadays on our phones and we're walking with our head down,
I
looking down,
know, huh?
it's
I see that
not
all
the
the
way
time.
we
It's just, I know.
yeah, it's not the way we're designed to be day in day out and to move, and so our body adapts to that. The more we work at a computer, the more we are entertained by a computer, the more we're looking at devices, the more stress that we have in our day to day world. The more our posture will suffer, our body will adapt to whatever we're teaching it. And so, especially even as we age, we respond slower to things, and we adapt. We've already built in these adaptations or these changes that have been more and more ingrained. So we need to make sure we address that before it takes more and more work to fix. So the sooner we address the posture, the faster we're going to see changes adapting in our body, physically and mentally, as we improve that posture.
So, are you able to help people with who have that really forward head posture? Can that be corrected?
For sure. And that's something where nobody sees someone that is getting in their elderly years with their head forward and their back hunched and
Hmm.
thinks that's want to be. That's a good sign of health right there. We immediately know that's not healthy.
Hmm.
But that takes years to develop. That's not something that happens right away. And
Hmm.
again, it's just adapted to what we teach our body. So when we do little things, we designed our program to make it simple, just little things daily that if we do them, our brain and our body start to adapt in slow ways that makes a big change over a period of time. And it can be correct, it can be reversed to an extent. If they have too much degeneration and calcifications in there, we can't get it perfect, but we always do see improvements and changes.
Yeah. But it also would be really helpful to actually see a chiropractor like yourself physically, because you can help you, to readjust their alignment and their postural alignment, right?
Exactly. And that's one of the things most people come to us because they have their headaches. They've got their tension in their neck or their lower back problems or their ankle issues or vertigo problems. And then when we do our assessment, when we look at their posture, we look at their function, we look at their balance, a lot of it comes down to the root of the problem being poor postural activation and tone and awareness. So as we really focus on these things, those other symptoms go away, and that is something where seeing a professional like myself, and we do online virtual consults with people, and or seeing someone in person really can be a benefit.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what's all actually involved in your posture program. That's an online program that people can access, and even right now, let people know that we'll put that information in the show description, and there's a link there also where you can get some free video trainings that'll be really helpful for you. But you mentioned that you could demonstrate a couple of things that people could do right now. Can you do that for us?
You bet. A few things that we want people to be able to take away from today's interview and implement right away are things that we're going to give you on those videos. So if they go to the link and they click on that to get the free videos that we're going to share with them, that's the good starting point. These are the first things we take people through in our program to help them get aware of how to move their head, activate their core properly, and work on their balance. And that's the first thing we work on. And the reason we work on this head exercise is because the body follows the head. So as the head goes forward, it
Mm-hmm.
changes our whole balance, the whole perception of tension here and where our body should be. So the first thing, and in the video, you'll see it with someone laying face down. So I'll try to demonstrate standing where people can, whether they're sitting, driving in a car, or standing, try to think of the same movement patterns in everyday life. So you want to think of the head pulling long. Now, a lot of times when people have lost their postural tone and their head's forward, they will look up. So they're going to tilt their nose up and their chin up to be taller, and they're lifting and compensating in that way. And so what we want to correct here is we actually want to lengthen the muscles right at the base of our skull by pulling the back of our head tall and then tucking our ears over the shoulders a little more. Most people are used to seeing or have done an exercise where they are told just to tuck the chin back to get the
Mm-hmm.
shoulders back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. It's not comfortable. What
Hmm.
you should be doing is thinking of pulling long as you bring the chin over the ears over the
Okay.
shoulder by tucking the chin a little bit. The head doesn't go straight forward and back. It doesn't go straight up and down. It usually compensates in those patterns. So think of
Hmm.
being tall as you bring the ears back over the shoulders. The second thing, most people compensate by leaning in their lower back. So in these videos, we show them how to engage their core in a very simple way by more of the pelvic floor and this muscle from the belly button. If you just think of your belly button pulling to your spine a little bit without crunching down. So these exercises should all lift you taller, not bring you shorter. So in a
Hmm.
seated position, think of pulling your head long, tucking your chin slightly so that your ear, eye, and nose are still level, and then feel your belly button to your spine just a little bit without crunching down or tucking your butt underneath. As you do that, it'll keep your back a little bit more firm and a little bit stronger. And then the third thing we recommend people start implementing is balancing. And so I recommend you find a wall or a door frame and just stand with your foot just an inch or so off the wall, your hips, your shoulders, and your head on that wall. And as you try to touch the wall back, most people that have lost their postural tone will find they have to tilt their head. They'll find it difficult getting your head back on the wall. And that gives
Hmm.
you an idea of how far off it might be. But as you stand on that wall, lift the other leg, balance, and then just bring your body just that inch off and stand for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, go back to the wall and check, does your hips, shoulder, and head all hit the wall at the same time? If
Hmm.
not, your body's compensating in all those ways that it shouldn't be. And that's where we start with people and we guide them through and work through a series of further exercises in our program to get them at the final stage where that becomes easy, that becomes normal and automatic for them in
Well,
controlling their body.
thank you so much for Brett. Yeah, we're just about out of time. Thank you so much for that. That's such good advice, and I highly recommend you go and check out these videos and check out his your posture program. It's so important. It's going to transform your life. Uh, so thank you, Dr. Brett, for being here. And thanks for the great work you're doing. And to our audience, I always like to end my shows by saying, we offer you always really good knowledge and wisdom, but knowledge without action is useless, right? You got to take action. So be sure and get a
That's right.
hold of Dr. Brett. It's going to be really some valuable information. So thank you, Dr. Brett, and thank everybody for being here.
Thank you for having me, Rico. Have a great day.